This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Got a message for you. Well, potentially a message. It's not from me, potentially from her. And that is because she's a clairvoyant. Dare I say she's a medium. She gets messages from the other side and more. And I get fascinated every time. I get excited. I'm like a kid every time we have guests like this on the show because we get insight. And you know what? She's got abilities, but I believe we all do to some degree. Let's learn more about that. Clairvoyant Diane Duffy joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so thrilled to be here, quite frankly.
Same. I'm excited to have you here. And we hear this word clairvoyant. How do you define what that word means?
Well, to me, what it really means is being able to get a channeled message. And the way that the messaging will come when I'm reading for somebody, I may close my eyes when I'm reading for somebody. I may look away when I'm reading for somebody. But basically, it's in what I would call my mind's eye. So somebody might say, close your eyes and picture, I don't know, Interstate 95. So you're closing your eyes and you're seeing Interstate 95 in your mind's eye, okay? So things come to me visually. They may come to me symbolically. They may come to me literally. I might get a date. I might get a season. I might get a name. So I'm basically being spoken to without necessarily hearing voices in my head, but I'm getting very clear, very detailed impressions. And I use those to relay the information to the client sitting across from me. So I don't need anything to be shown to me, physically, because it all comes through very clear in my mind's eye and specifics. It's pretty much, that's clairvoyant.
Do you get symbols, signs that mean something to you, and then you relay it to the person that you're doing the reading for?
Oh gosh, yes. Oh yes. They will use, old slogans. There's and definitely like the old slogan, throwing a wrench in it, which is an old term, from like 100 years ago, meaning someone's trying to sabotage something. Put the kibosh on something, in other words, like, a job interview or something like this, so they're going to use these terms. And sometimes my clients are all different ages and I may say it and they may not understand, but then I'll have to tell them what that really means is something is being sabotaged or something's going to end or something, I'm seeing a baby, something is going to be birthed, not necessarily someone's going to have a baby. So when you said symbols, oh yes, absolutely. And I've gotten used to them because my guides have a sense of humor and they kind of know me and they're aware of what I know and what I'm able to interpret. So, I'm just so grateful for how they relate to me because they make it easy. And that's a beautiful thing. And then it's up to me to make it easy for my client. I usually don't have a problem,
Can you give an example of something you got that was a symbol, sign, you heard something, whatever it might be, and then it was validated by the person that you were providing the reading for?
Oh, absolutely. I remember this, you're going to love this one. It was during COVID, and I was actually very busy during COVID because people weren't really doing much. Well, long story short, I decided to do my reading outside on a nice summer day in the shade with my client. And while she was validating some things. I kept seeing a man trying to push a refrigerator, and it meant nothing to me at the time. And I said to her, can you tell me, because I need to either say yay or nay and get rid of this man who's leaning against and pushing a refrigerator. She started going, oh my God, oh my God. I said, okay, well, oh my God, but what? Because she was shocked. She said, that's my deceased ex husband. He's only been dead 4 months. That's what he did for a living. He delivered refrigerators and stoves. And I said, well, he's here. And thank you for that, because now he's stepping back. But he was bothering me. I couldn't get him out of my mind's eye. A man, pushing, leaning, trying to push a refrigerator. So that's one example, but there's been thousands. But yes.
Wow. I'm just going to say, you have my permission. Anything comes through as an example or whatever, I don't care if you're worried about. I don't know if I should say that, because I'm very transparent. Oh, I don't care. So just I'm releasing. I'm saying you have full conduit to me if you want to. Anything comes up along the way.
It's really interesting, but I don't know if you like fishing, but somebody likes fishing. And somebody is showing me you on a boat and somebody catching a marlin, not a big marlin, but a marlin in Florida. I have no idea what that's all about, but that's been hanging around me. I don't know if you're supposed to go and do that, but that image is having a hard time leaving me. I don't know if you're a boat guy or not, but
I'm gonna say you're in the right direction, but I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to muddy the water. Like if anything else comes, but there's a couple of things there that stand out for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Getting chills. I'm not kidding. And I could look at it in two different directions of what you just said. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the marlin, I don't have a tie to that, but there's other stuff there. And then maybe there could be something with the marlin. I'll find out. I call it when somebody is doing readings for somebody else and the other person's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or like you said, well, I got a relative. I got, Uncle Mike is coming through. And they're like, I don't know. I call it psychic amnesia because you're in that moment. You're in that throw of getting a reading and you're trying to process everything. You're excited. You don't know what's going to come through. And I'm sure it happens for you like days later, if not longer, that people call you up or message you and was like, oh, you know what? I figured it out.
Yeah, somebody that didn't like the desert and all of a sudden they end up with their family or their boyfriend or husband, whatever, in Arizona.
Right.
Later on. And I never thought I would end up there. I'm like, well, I was seeing you in Arizona, I would never do that. And lo and behold, a year later, 8, 10 months later, oh, you know what? There was this opportunity. I went to Arizona. Oh, well,
And you just
loved it,
there's something floating in me and I'm trying to figure it out. But the word desert in a weird way resonates with me too. So you just gave some random. Wow. It's weird. Right. Leave it at that for a moment. Right. And again, I'm very honest. I'm not just saying this stuff. There's something, weird desert type of thing going on in my world that I'm trying to figure out and process. But anyway, where did this all begin for you, Diane?
Well, back, and I'm probably dating myself here, but my mom and I, back in, I think, the late 60s, early 70s, there was a show. It wasn't the movie. I know there's a movie called The Sixth Sense. This was a show on your regular NBC, CBS station, on a Friday night. And I'm watching that with my mom, and my mom was fascinated. And then my mom started getting messages for me, and I'm getting messages for her. Then we're in each other's head, when I was a teenager. And it just went on and on. And then I started getting readings, started telling my auntie who lived next door, oh, I get psychic readings. I go to mediums. And then I started going. Then one of the psychics belonged to a spiritualist church that believes in mediumship and development. I go to that. Now I'm sitting in circles, developing. And next thing you know, as time went on, the psychic part came first. The mediumship, which I never thought was going to come, came randomly. It didn't scare me. It was more of like, why me? And I gave a message to a woman who was supposed to remarry somebody, but he died. It was, she was married, they divorced, whatever, got back together. Supposed to remarry this fella, and before the wedding ceremony, whatever, he was hit by a drunk driver. And part of the reason why they got divorced was because of his drinking, which he stopped. And lo and behold, he came through with a lot of love and he overwhelmed me. And I literally was able to describe his boots and the color of his shirt that he wore. And she verified it. So the mediumship piece came out of nowhere. And I had already been doing readings psychically. And then that piece decided to jump in. So, yeah, it really stemmed from mom, my aunt, spiritualism, and here I am.
Have you ever freaked yourself out where some things come through, got validated, and you're like, wow? Or does that happen a lot to you?
You mean for a client or for myself? Like,
any of the above.
Intuition on my own.
Any of the above.
I'm gonna say for a client, this one really stood out because she called me and kept me on the phone for like an hour. When I read for this woman, I said to her, I don't do predictions on death. If someone's in hospice, I just won't go there. I will warn somebody, if they've got, I don't know, a bad vein or they're wearing flip flops and they shouldn't. I'll see instability in the legs. This woman said to me about her headaches. And I said, look, I don't diagnose. I can tell you what I'm feeling, but there's free will. There's all kind of wiggle room. So please don't come back to me and tell me, that the doctor said I was all wrong. So I really treaded carefully on that. And I said to her, your headache, you need to see a different doctor. I was really feeling that. And I said, your answers will come. I did get that there was going to be a resolve. So I kept it kind of general. All right. Thank goodness I told her to go for the second opinion because they did find a tumor. It was benign. It was on her pituitary. And the first doctor was just dismissive. Oh, migraines this, and oh, go get some acupuncture and blah, 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 blah. And they booked the surgery sooner than later because they wanted to make sure it wasn't cancerous, and all is well. But when she called me, she was literally jumping out of her skin. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's got to be challenging for you, Diane. Like you got to be careful. You're seeing something, you're feeling something. How do you make a determination what to share? Or do you just share everything, anything that comes up?
Actually, you know what? Actually, my guides protect me where, again, I won't go into anything dark. I will not go into anything that is too important that if I got it wrong. So I'm really protected. The one thing I was a little bit afraid to share was that there was a girl that she hadn't decided whether she wanted to get pregnant again or not. She did share that her marriage was rocky, and I confirmed that. And I said, I'm just feeling like you might want to hold off a little bit on having another one. I said, you have free will, but there's something going on that I can't explain, but I just feel the timing may not be right. Of course, she was very mad at me. I said, you have free will to do whatever. Well, she got pregnant and she ended up having a miscarriage.
Wow. And
You know,
you
it's
bring
not
back.
something that that I'm proud of, but I just knew that she really needed to take some time. And I said, I don't know why. And I always say to people, you have free will. The energy could change.
Sure.
Just like, oh, I like this guy in high school and he seems to like me. Well, the guy can always change his mind. There is free will.
Right.
But when I read, I say the energy right now looks this way. And that's the way I present it.
So you mentioned children, brought back memories for me. Uh, I was told that I was having a child and from a psychic, and I'm like, and it was presented in a text. What do you got? What do you want to tell me? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, there's something you want to tell me. I'm like, I don't know what it was. Well, they were right. I didn't even know that I was going to have a kid. Then 2 years later, similar situation. I'm at passing by a restaurant. There's a psychic that I knew, and she happened to be in the same area. She comes running up to me. She was a little kooky too. And she's like, "Ah, you're going to have a kid. You're going to have a girl." I'm like, "No, trust me. There's no plans for that." No, 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 you are. Try. Oh, you are. A few days later, I found out I'm having a girl. So, stuff is real. Stuff is
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've never predicted the sex of a child. It's just something that my guides just don't go there. And I will tell people that for whatever reason, my guides just don't touch that one.
Mm.
And, it doesn't mean that my gift isn't real, but I really do believe very sincerely that every medium or psychic has something that they just don't bring forward. Maybe somebody lost something and they don't want to say, oh, it's here, there, or somewhere, where I might decide to go there and tell somebody where I'm feeling something is if I really do feel it. But I tell people that, look, we're not perfect. And although my accuracy is spot on, only because my guides will give me what they know is absolute, and they won't give me what is not quite absolute because there's free will. And, somebody might really want a house, a certain house, and heart set on it. And I will say, at the moment, I'm feeling it's yours. And I try to word it so, and they might come back to me and they're like, yep, we got that house.
Mm.
And I did tell one woman, I said, you're not going to end up in Prospect, Connecticut. I said, I see water. I don't know why, but there's something with water. Well, lo and behold, she ended up getting divorced. And with that money, she ended up moving to Clinton, Connecticut, which is right 10 minutes away is the beach. You know,
Mm. Mm.
they will only give me sometimes what's safe enough that my guides know. And you know, um, that's just it. We try not to be the bearer of really bad news like death and divorce. We might see a relationship not quite working out, but you kind of have to know your guides and your guides know you with what. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. It doesn't mean that you're a negative reader or that's all you do is go around and tell people that the relationships aren't going to work out. I just think that you have to trust that your guides are doing the best for your client at that time. And I think if everybody that does this kind of work says that we're giving you the best information, good, bad, or indifferent, at this time to assist you.
Now you mentioned guides, spirit team, whatever it may be. Do we all have them?
Mhm. Everybody has a guide. I've Now this is gonna make you chuckle. I've often chuckled if one of my cousins has any guides or not because he was just not a good person, and the entire 100 cousins in my family knew that this particular cousin was not nice.
I have two of
And
I have two of them. I get
my
it.
and my feeling is everything is energy and vibration.
Yep.
I feel that low vibration will attract low vibration trickster guides. And I felt that these ones were around him. They didn't interfere with me, but I knew that they were around him. But I also knew that my loving, wonderful uncle was trying to help, who is a good man from the other side. And I would be able to feel that. But again, we have free will to accept that intuitive good stuff, or we can be overpowered and, reject it. But yes, to answer your question, we all do. Some people use it without even knowing it.
Mm.
Some people think that it's give more credit to their brain than to what divinely is working through them, and that's kind of sad. But yeah, we all do. And more than one. We all have more than one, you know?
Even intuition, I think we do a whole podcast on that. If you're open to what comes through, and I'm talking the rest of us, not somebody like yourself, but yeah,
Right.
there's things out there. There's signs to be seen, but we're so busy in life that we don't see them. We don't the magic that's around us, the validation and all of that. Diane, great talking with you.
Yes.
Lots to dig into next time we get together. How do we find you? Somebody wants a reading. The best part is you can do this virtually for anybody, either phone or Zoom video, whatever. How do we find you?
The best way well, if you want to find me to research old live work that I've done that has been recorded and testimonials, go on Spirits Response Facebook. That's SPIRITS Response, RESPONSC on Facebook. You'll see some old stuff. But to actually reach me, texting is the best. And I will give my phone number. I have no problem with that. It's 860-518-4136, or my email, it's Diane, Diane, 9, M like Mary, P like Paul, at gmail.com.
Wow. Beautiful talking with you today.
Oh, thank you so much. It was great.
What you said about me, there's stuff there. And I normally don't do this. I'm not going to say any more because my intuition is telling me to shut up. And there will be more that you're going to reveal based on what you just said.
Well, the number 19 is all around you, just FYI.
I will write that down and be working on that one. I'm telling you, I get when things come up like that. There's something. It'll be revealed. Somebody said to me long ago when I was going through some challenges, it'll all be revealed. And they were right. At some point it is.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool having you on here, and looking forward next time we get together. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. We'll
Have a
talk
great
soon.
day.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.